Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating subject, the most famous paintings of women.
It's a huge topic.
It is. Artists across time, they've all tried to capture, the essence of femininity. And they created works that are just incredibly valuable, still so influential.
Absolutely. More than just pictures.
Exactly. So our guide today is a curated list, the top 10 most famous paintings of women as of 2025. And we're looking at this, importantly, from an art and luxury asset perspective.
Gives it a slightly different angle.
It does. So our mission for you listening in is to unpack the stories, the controversies, and there are plenty.
Oh, yeah.
And the techniques behind these famous portraits. It's kind of a shortcut, really, to understanding why these specific paintings grabbed the world's imagination.
And they still hold it.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to remember these aren't just, pretty pictures. They're windows.
Windows, how so?
Windows into history, culture, artistic innovation. They really continue to shape how we even think about art and beauty today.
Okay, let's get into it then. First up, we have to go way back. Sandra Botticelli's Birth of Venus. We're talking around 1485.
A cornerstone of the early Renaissance.
Right, and what's interesting is Botticelli was the first in Tuscany to paint tempera on canvas. Canvas was seen as, well, kind of inferior back then.
Yeah, wood panel was the standard for high art. Canvas was different. A bit risky.
And speaking of risky Venus's nudity, super bold for a religiously strict time. It's honestly amazing it survived things like the bonfire of the vanities.
It is. A lot of art did make it through that. Shows the power of its patrons, perhaps.
The Medici family, yeah, commissioned it. And there's that detail about Botticelli wanting to be buried near his muse, Simonetta Vespucci.
A romantic notion certainly adds the mystique.
But the painting itself didn't get famous until centuries after he died. Now it's at the Uffizi in Florence, worth an estimated, $500 million?
Easily. It shows how artistic courage, pushing boundaries with materials and subject matter, even if controversial then, can lead to huge recognition and value later on. It really defines so much of that early Renaissance spirit.
Okay, so from Botticelli, we have to talk about the big one. Arguably the most famous painting period.
Has to be the Mona Lisa.
Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, painted between 1503 and 1519. Took him a while.
He kept tinkering with it.
And you know her smile, but maybe not some of the facts. Like, she's actually pretty small, 77 by 53 centimeters. Oil on poplar wood.
Deceptively small for its massive fame.
And Da Vinci's big innovation, he had her turn towards the viewer. That broke from the standard profile view you saw in Italian art.
That was revolutionary. It changed the whole dynamic.
And the mystery around her identity. Was it his mother? A self-portrait, then that note found in 2005 suggesting Lisa del Giocondo.
Which is now the widely accepted view, yeah. But the speculation added to the legend.
Oh, definitely. And her history. Stolen in 1911, which actually boosted her fame massively, attacked by activists, now behind bulletproof glass at the Louvre.
She's had quite a life. But that gaze, that turn, why was that simple shift so transformative?
You tell me. It seems almost obvious now.
Well, it created intimacy, engagement. Before, you were often just looking at a portrait. Da Vinci made it feel like the portrait was looking back at you, engaging with you.
Ah, like a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It turned portraiture from mere documentation into a psychological interaction that changed everything.
Wow. Okay, moving north now to the Dutch Golden Age. Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring around 1665.
The Mona Lisa of the North, as they call it.
Right. And what's wild is Vermeer was pretty much unknown in his lifetime. Only about 36 known paintings survive.
His output was small, but the quality, incredible.
And this painting's fame really exploded much later, right? After a restoration in 1995, an exhibition, then the book, the movie.
It hit the mainstream in a big way.
Right.
The novel and film really popularized it.
And here's the key thing, I think. It's not really a portrait of a specific person. It's a tronie.
Right, a Dutch term. It's more like a study of a character type, an expression, the way light hits the face, the fabric.
Exactly. Focus on light, color, that enigmatic expression. It's now in The Hague. So that ambiguity, capturing an essence, not an individual, how does that make it so relatable?
Well, because it's not tied to one person's story, we can project our own feelings onto her. That glance over the shoulder, the luminosity. It captures something universally human, a fleeting moment. That's its power, its ambiguity is its strength.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears again to something well, blatantly provocative. Francisco Goya's The Nude Maja, 1797 to 1800.
Definitely provocative for its time. Scandalous even.
Totally. Goya depicted pubic hair. That was a major taboo, a huge challenge to custom.
Unheard of in formal painting then. Very bold.
It had real consequences. The
Oh,
Spanish Inquisition investigated him in 1815, partly because of this painting, called him immoral.
yes, he had to answer for it. High stakes.
There were rumors the sitter was the Duchess of Alba, but it's probably his mistress, Pepita Tudo.
That's the more likely theory, yes. Adds another layer of intrigue.
And cool fact, he painted a companion piece, the Clothed Maja. They hang together now in the Prado in Madrid.
Side by side. Quite a comparison.
So how does that kind of defiance, challenging the church, society, risking serious trouble, how does that cement a work's place in history?
It becomes a symbol of rebellion. Goya wasn't just painting a nude. He was challenging authority, pushing against rigid norms. The controversy itself becomes part of the artwork's narrative, ensuring its fame. Art that takes risks often endures.
Right. Okay, next up, a different kind of story. Delayed fame. James McNeill Whistler's arrangement in Gray and Black No. 1. We know it as Whistler's Mother, 1871.
Ah, yes. Instantly recognizable.
But here's the irony. An American painting huge in France, but initially not so much elsewhere.
Correct. It got a pretty cold reception in Victorian London when first shown.
Why was that?
Its style, its severity, as you said. It was too stark, too lacking in sentimentality for the Victorian taste, which leaned towards more romanticized images.
But later it was seen as really important for realism, got called the Victorian Mona Lisa.
Exactly. Tastes changed. Movements evolved. Its quiet dignity, its composition, it came to be appreciated.
The French state bought it in 1891, right? Now it's at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris.
Yes, it found its audience, albeit across the channel.
So what does that tell us? How context shifts, how a once dismissed work becomes iconic.
It shows that artistic value isn't fixed. Context is everything. What one era dismisses, another might champion. Whistler's Mother needed time and perhaps a different cultural lens to be fully appreciated. It proves relevance can be a slow burn.
Fascinating. Okay, let's jump into Impressionism. Claude Monet's Woman with a Parasol, 1875.
Classic Monet, leader of the movement.
And this one features his wife Camille and their son Jean. It feels so immediate, like a snapshot.
Very much so, capturing a fleeting moment outdoors.
You can almost feel the breeze. It's believed he painted it on plein air, outdoors, quickly, with those energetic brushstrokes. Oil on canvas.
That was key to Impressionism, capturing the sensation of light and atmosphere.
And here's a connection. John Singer Sargent, whose painting we'll get to, apparently saw this at an exhibition and was inspired to paint his own version.
Ah, yes. Two girls with parasols at Flatbury. Shows the influence.
Monet's original is now in the National Gallery of Art in D.C. So how did this Impressionist approach change things? Moving outside, capturing these personal moments.
It broke down the formality. Instead of rigid studio poses, you get immediacy, light, air. Monet wasn't just painting people. He was painting the experience of that moment. The light hitting the parasol, the movement. It infused art with a personal sensory narrative.
Okay, from intimate moments to outright scandal again. John Singer Sargent's portrait of Madame X, 1884.
Ah, Madame Gautreau, another famous controversy.
Huge uproar at the Paris Salon. That plunging neckline was one thing, but the strap dangling off her shoulder.
Deemed far too suggestive, too risque for the time.
So much so that Sargent actually had to repaint the strap back onto her shoulder. The backlash was intense.
He did, a concession to public outrage. But the damage, or perhaps the fame, was done.
And the sitter, Madame Virginie Gautreau, she was famous for her looks, quite mysterious. Apparently turned down lots of artists before Sargent.
Yes, she cultivated that enigmatic persona. Sargent captured it, maybe too well for some.
It's now at the Met in New York, so this idea of challenging decorum, igniting debate, how much does that add to a painting's fame?
Significantly. Madame X became notorious because it provoked. It forced a conversation about propriety, beauty standards, female agency. The scandal itself became inseparable from the artwork, amplifying its cultural footprint far beyond just being a skillful portrait. Sometimes notoriety is the fastest path to immortality in art.
Makes sense. All right, next. Opulence, symbolism, and an incredible story of survival. Gustav Klimt's portrait of Adele Bloch-Bauer, the first, 1907.
The Woman in Gold. Absolutely stunning piece.
It's just incredible. Mixed media, oil paints, gold and silver leaf. It literally glows. So captivating.
Klimt at the height of his golden phase.
And the personal story. Adele was the only person Klimt painted twice. Apparently his mistress for a time, though her husband commissioned it.
Adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
patron, the artist, the muse.
Definitely. And you see Klimt's influences, mosaic art, Japanese prints, Egyptian motifs, all packed into this rich, symbolic work.
It's a tapestry of influences, elevating her almost to an icon.
And the history. Stolen by the Nazis in 1941, tangled in legal battles for decades, finally recovered and then sold for $135 million in 2006.
An amazing story of restitution and survival, now at the Nui Gallery in New York.
So those layers, the personal, the artistic influences, the dramatic history, what does that tell us about art's power and resilience?
It shows art can embody so much personal connection, cultural fusion, historical trauma, and ultimately triumph. Klimt embedded Adele in this timeless symbolic world, and the painting itself survived unimaginable upheaval. Its journey reinforces the idea that great art endures, carrying its complex history and value through time.
Wow. Okay, shifting styles dramatically now. Into the 20th century with Pablo Picasso's Portrait of Dora Maar, 1937.
Picasso, the great innovator, moving into his surrealist-influenced phase here, though always distinctly Picasso.
And this portrait is so striking. He combines that frontal view and profile view of her face simultaneously.
Classic Picasso, breaking down form, showing multiple viewpoints.
Yeah, with those angular shapes, the bright, bold colors, it's very intense.
Very much reflects the turbulent times and perhaps their relationship too.
And Dora Maar herself, she wasn't just a muse. She was an accomplished artist, a photographer. They had this intense relationship, mutually inspiring each other.
Absolutely. She was a formidable intellectual and creative force in her own right. Their dynamic is palpable in his portraits of her.
You can find this one at the Musée Picasso in Paris. So how did Picasso's cubist and surreal techniques allow for a deeper psychological portrait, going beyond just likeness?
By fracturing the image, Picasso wasn't just showing what she looked like, but maybe how she felt or how he perceived her complexities. It's not a single, static view. It captures dynamism, maybe conflicting emotions, the multifaceted nature of a person and a relationship. It's seeing someone from the inside out, almost.
A psychological deep dive in paint.
In a way, yes. Pushing beyond surface reality.
Okay, finally, number 10 on our list. An incredibly powerful piece of self-expression. Frida Kahlo's self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird from 1940.
Ah, Frida.
Yeah.
Such a unique and commanding voice in art history.
One of the most famous female portrait artists ever, really. She did 55 self-portraits, exploring her own reality.
Her primary subject was herself, her pain, her resilience.
And this one. It's haunting, but so powerful. Painted after her divorce from Diego Rivera and an affair ended.
You feel the pain. That thorn necklace literally piercing her skin.
The symbolism is intense. That claustrophobic background, the thorns suggesting martyrdom, the black hummingbird, usually a symbol of luck in Mexico, but here it's black, maybe dead.
Or perhaps dormant, waiting for resurrection.
It's ambiguous.
Right. Despite the pain, there are hints of hope, maybe resilience. The butterfly, the hummingbird itself, they can symbolize rebirth.
Exactly. It's layered, pain and hope intertwined.
And it was bought by her ex-lover, Nicholas Murray. Now it's in Austin, Texas, at the Harry Ransom Center. So what makes self-portraiture like Kahlo's so profound? How does she weave the personal and the cultural so effectively?
Kahlo used her own image as a canvas for universal human experiences: pain, love, loss, identity. She masterfully blended her intense personal suffering with Mexican folk art traditions and religious iconography, like the thorns echoing Christ's crown. This fusion makes her deeply personal story resonate universally. It's a testament to art's power to transform suffering into something meaningful and enduring.
Incredible. So that's our top 10. We've covered centuries, styles, scandals. Looking back, there are definitely themes, aren't there? Absolutely. The enduring fascination with women as subjects, the sheer vision of these artists pushing boundaries.
And how controversy often played a big role in cementing their fame. It wasn't always just about the art itself.
No, the stories matter. And these works, each so unique, continue to inspire. They're in major museums, testament to their immense cultural value.
And monetary value, let's not forget, these are priceless assets in many ways.
Undeniably, their influence is huge culturally and financially.
So, reflecting on how these paintings were so shaped by their times, by the artists' lives, here's a final thought for you, our listener. What qualities might define the next iconic paintings of women? What will the masterpieces of our century tell future generations about us right now?
That's a fascinating question to ponder. What stories will resonate? What will art reveal about our current moment?
Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into these incredible works. Keep exploring, keep looking closely at art.
Yes, there's always more to see.
We'll catch you on the next one.